Hey there everyone, Kaizouwar here. Just thinking about BlazBlue Cross-Tag Battle and how I followed it all the way from its announcement to its DLC, to its launch, to its updates, and all the way to 2.0. BBTAG has been a wild ride from beginning all the way to the end. And today I will be explaining the actual history of BlazBlue Cross-Tag Battle. To bring a very small introduction, the BlazBlue series is one of ARCSYS main titles alongside Guilty Gear. BlazBlue was created during a time where ARCSYS had very messy licensing issues with Guilty Gear, and they continued to make games and media out of BlazBlue, even after gaining the rights back for both franchises so they can stand side by side. BlazBlue expands into manga, anime, light novels, drama CDs, spin-off games, visual novels, radio shows, some short stories, and a lot of merchandise and characters from series. They even had small collaborations in games such as Destiny Child. Now there's awfully more to all of this, but that's not the point of this video. No, the actual point of this video is me talking about a certain spin-off in a time where pretty much everyone around was actually hyped for a new BlazBlue game. It was July of 2017, and during an EVO event where we were finally graced with Jubei making his long-awaited appearance as a playable character in BlazBlue Central Fiction. While people were hyped by that, it was the announcement after that which made hype go into overdrive.
And from ARCSYS, Andy!
BlazBlue Cross-Tag Battle. BlazBlue was not only having a tag-focused fighting game, but a crossover tag-focused fighting game, alongside the likes of Persona 4 Arena, Under Night in Birth, and as a massive shock, RWBY, the American web series created by Monty Oum and Rooster Teeth. Now, RWBY does seem to be an out-of-left-field choice, especially considering that ARCSYS has created both BlazBlue and Persona 4 Arena and has helped publish Under Night in Birth. But Mori does explain in a Forbes interview about why RWBY is in the game in the first place. He says, "Oh yeah, I love RWBY. I think it's a great property and has a great story. So my love for RWBY hasn't changed at all. That's a really difficult question. I mean, I love to see Penny in the game. Penny and Adam, definitely." Now, most people's first question is, where the hell is Guilty Gear? Well, Mori sat down with Famitsu and also mentioned that there will be no Guilty Gear characters in BlazBlue Cross-Tag Battle. He says, "We understand that people want us to put Guilty Gear characters in the game. However, Guilty Gear doesn't really have an end to its story or part of it, so we're not considering that at the moment. If we were to bring Guilty Gear characters in, it'd feel a lot better if we did it after its story had been concluded." It was nothing but good times for ARCSYS. Dragon Ball FighterZ has just been announced before BBTAG's announcement, and after the rather controversial Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite essentially being dunked on by FighterZ as well as others on the internet, BlazBlue Cross-Tag Battle being announced just added more goodwill on ARCSYS' end, and I couldn't have been happier. So the first alpha build of the game was brought out at New York Comic Con, where you could play as Ragnar the Blood Edge, Yu Narukami, Hyde Keto, and Ruby Rose. It also showed off the character select screen, and due to how it was structured, 7 characters per franchise row on top of an etc. bar, quite a few people guessed that there was going to be 7 characters per franchise, and I was no different. The Accera bar also kept us wondering what exactly it meant, but my first and practically only guess that the Accera bar was maybe for potential newcomers from other franchises. Now, I will bring up all the trailers that came out before the game's actual launch, though there is one particular trailer that came out that I will talk about that's arguably one of the most important trailers in this video. Character Introduction 2017 introduces Jin Kisaragi, Yosuke Hanamura, and Line. Character Introduction 2 came out on October 15th, 2017. It revealed Rachel Alucard, Hazama, and Wei Schnee. They were revealed at RTX. Character Introduction 3, October 20th, bringing in Noelle Vermillion, Chie Satsunaka, and Walt Stein. Character Introduction 4 came out on November 17th, 2017, introducing Azriel, Yukiko Amagi, and Gordeau. Finally, Character Introduction 5 came out on December 15th, 2017. It brought in S, Makoto Naniya, New 13, and Iron Tiger. A small tangent here, but I definitely needed info about RWBY and Under Night In-Birth, as I had absolutely zero knowledge on the game and the web series, outside of knowing what the characters looked like and music tracks from both of the series. I managed to watch the first 4 volumes of RWBY to catch up, and I even copped the original PS3 version of Under Night In-Birth X Late to have an understanding of how these characters were all about. Honestly, it was a fun time back then chronicling my RWBY journey episode by episode, volume by volume. And even though I don't watch the show anymore, it was a good time talking with fans and learning the lore of the series. I was even doing a countdown, and that is something I'd never do. That's how excited I was for this game. Now, as for all the builds they had at BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle, I will not go over every single one, as there are quite a few, and definitely not in order. But I will say that ARCSYS was promoting this game like never before. They had builds and promotional material at the aforementioned New York Comic Con, but they also had builds at GameStop, an English dub of SakuraCon, RTX London, the Taipei Game Show, Anime Ascension, Anime Boston, the Level Up Battle Circuit, the Brussels Challenge, and the Sakura Fight Festa. During those original builds, it was discovered that the game would play very differently from your average BlazBlue game, as the controls will be simplified for newcomers. Arc System Works and the game's director Toshibichi Mori also mentioned that they wanted to appeal to a more Western crowd for this game. Now, I know that not that many people played the builds originally, the OG builds of this game, but I didn't hear that many complaints back in the day compared to what I hear now. God, I miss those days. At the time, and still to this very day, one of BBTAG's most controversial takes is about its auto combo system, known as Smart Combos. Now, while I won't go over the entire system mechanics here, I will go over some just to get a small idea of how the game felt in its early days. By repeatedly pressing the A or B buttons, you can perform a full combo easily, which was the design goal for this game to ease newcomers in. There was also things discovered such as pressing forward makes you automatically run, the Clash Assault, which is a universal overhead every character has access to by pressing the C button, and then you enter a state where you can team up with your partner and time an attack to do massive damage if you hit it at the right moment. Each character's distortion drives and all moves were mostly simplified to easy quarter circle forward or quarter circle back motions. And then we hit January 13th, 2018, where BBTAG will suffer its biggest blow yet. On that day, a trailer was released for BBTAG, introducing Blake Belladonna from Team RWBY. Now keep in mind that people have been waiting for the other RWBY girls, while BlazBlue, Persona 4 Arena, and Under Night In-Birth have been getting characters pretty quickly, though there were some people who were more understanding. Creating sprites from the ground up for a brand new fighting game is a hell and a half to do, on top of the money it costs to pull it off. As Arc System Works were the developers of both BlazBlue and the Persona 4 Arena games, they had to redraw all of the Under Night In-Birth sprites to match up to the others, since French Bread obviously created those sprites. They also had to create all of RWBY sprites from the ground up, so it was understandable that the RWBY characters would take longer to arrive. However, Blake Belladonna being revealed as DLC was not what anyone had expected. Now, a lot of new fans were coming to this game from all over, especially the Ruby fandom, who was much larger than I had ever expected. So hearing that one of the core members of Team Ruby wasn't going to be in the main roster really was a hard hit. And if Blake was going to be DLC, then Yang Xiaolong would obviously be downloadable content as well. To add more fuel to the fire, it was then revealed on the same day that there would be 20 characters in the base roster and 20 characters relegated to DLC, which was not a good look on ARCSYS' image. After getting more people hyped for a game in a long time, uniting fandoms and showing off essentially a dream game, at least for me, the DLC revelation pretty much killed the majority of the hype people had for this upcoming game. People were pissed, and rightfully so. I was mad as all hell as well. ARCSYS then remained quiet about the Blake stuff for a while, and then came back with another trailer, clarifying that Blake would actually be free DLC along with Yang Xiaolong herself. And then information that the game came out that it will be released at a reduced price of $50, and that the DLC would be $20, totaling $70 for the whole shebang. I want to mention that there is also the Collector's Edition, which would total $100. It gave you the game, a steelbook case, an art book, a soundtrack CD, acrylic standees, and whatnot. But for some ungodly reason, despite paying $100 for this Collector's Edition, you do not get the 20 character season pass at all with it. That's a separate release, which means instead of paying $100 to get everything, you have to pay $120 to get everything, which I still don't know why I have a Collector's Edition, but leaving the season pass out, but I guess that's a way to get more money out of you. Now, Blake Belladonna and Yang Xiaolong being free did help alleviate some complaints, as it didn't mean that they would be barred off from money, though there was still the $20 elephant in the room, and the damage had already been done. There were some people who had written off the game and weren't going to get it at all. There was a lot of complaints about how DLC would be handled in fighting games and how they have been handled in fighting games. Though there was still some people who were disappointed and still willing the game, and there was also people who just didn't care and were going to get the game regardless. And then there was actually me. While I hated what ARCSYS was doing and they immediately shattered all the hype and promotional stuff they built up, I was still going to get the game on launch, as I still wanted to know what the game was going to be like at the end of the day. On February 8th, 2018, it was announced on an ARCSYS Twitch stream that BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle would receive an English dub, which was something shocking to me, especially to how Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator and BlazBlue Central Fiction was handled without one. I was overjoyed to hear that the dub was coming back, and it did put my mind at ease, at least for a little bit. Plus, for the first time ever, the Undernight in-birth characters and S would have English voices, and I thought that was pretty awesome. Now, I have mentioned that BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle had a Sakura-Con build. The first dub build will be streamed online on March 30th, 2018, and hearing the dub cast back and the interactions between all four franchises in English was so cool. It just felt like a dream. From March of 2018 to April of 2018, ARCSYS America would host BBTAG streams that would show off the English dub more, as well as tournament builds. ARCSYS was really showing off the dub like never before, and me being a dub fanboy, I ate it all up. Also during April, they started releasing BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle combos to show off what the characters can do in a team format, which was also nice to see what the characters would look like before they were released. If you pre-ordered the game on PlayStation 4, you got to play in open beta on PSN for a few days from May 9th to May 12th. From the 12th to the 14th of May, everyone got access to the open beta, where you could play all 20 characters for the very first time. The Nintendo Switch version had its own online demo from May 10th to May 14th, and once that was over, a demo that only allowed access to Ragna, Yu, Hyde, and Ruby was left up on the PSN and eShop for anyone to play, and it's still there to this day. On May 14th, people leaked the actual open beta and the actual demo of the game, the trial version, and a song known as 9104 Boss was leaked to the public, and that was when we all knew that this game was going to get a giant boss battle similar to that of Take Mikazuchi from BlazBlue Chrono Phantasma or Hino Kagatsuchi from Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle then launched in Japan on May 31st, 2018, and then in the West on June 5th, 2018. Now, I got the game on June 6th, and I was extremely lucky because that was the last PS4 copy of the game of BBTAG in a 100-mile radius from where I lived. The moment I touched the game, I played the hell out of it, and then I just stopped. While I enjoyed the actual gameplay of BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle on launch, and was very thankful the dub came back, the lack of actual content and the roster size really did hurt my overall enjoyment. Not to mention the bland story mode that didn't take advantage of the wacky crossover idea like I wanted it to. I was expecting it to be a massive gag reel of sorts, or some kind of jokey side thing, but it didn't turn out that way at all, and it was super disappointing. There was no arcade mode, and while I know this game was console and PC first, normally ARCSYS was still at it anyway, and it also had a set in the entrance of the game. There were no extra modes like time attack or score attack. It had a pretty empty gallery. There was just a lot of things just overall missing from this game that's normally in other BlazBlue games. And that's a shame, considering how BlazBlue games are usually known for having a lot of single player content for their games. I also wasn't a fan of how the BlazBlue music was handled in this game, as they were all cut to a minute or so long and then looped, ruining all the tracks so they could match up with the Persona 4 Arena and Under Night in Birth ones, and it was stupid as hell. Now, I know they did this because the matches were already short, but the songs like the Ruby mixes were about 4 to 5 minutes, and they were cobbled up songs from all over the series. They kept songs like Pursuing My True Self at their original length as well, and Shadow World, so I had no idea why the BlazBlue music had to take a hit for it. Speaking of music, I actually want to talk about the soundtrack of the game for a bit. Now, BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle had overall 3 releases of its soundtrack, and oddly enough, all 3 lack every single new song within the game. Now, if you pre-order the game from certain places, like say a GameStop for example, you will get a mini CD with the Ruby Mix BBTAG Special, the Weiss Mix BBTAG Special, the arcade theme for Calamity Trigger, Continuum Shift, Chrome Phantasma, Central Fiction, and the short version of Crossing Fate. Now, I can understand this one because it's just a mini CD, but the other ones I find a little bit weird as well. So we move on to BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle's official soundtrack, and what weirds me out about this is that it's essentially the mini CD, but just a few more songs. For example, there's also Blake and Yang's remixes done in there as well. But the thing about it is that it has filler songs, because the arcade themes for Calamity Trigger, Continuum Shift, Chrome Phantasma, and Central Fiction, you can't really play those in BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle, which is odd to me considering they're already short songs. I don't see why they couldn't just put them in the game and loop it. But there are no songs from the lobby or the character select screen or the menus or the trial menu. There's no songs that are actually created specifically for Cross Tag Battle that's in this game other than Crossing Fate and the System and Resonance themes, which is so weird to me, and I have no idea why they excluded those songs. And while it's too early to mention this, BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle would then get a remastering CD that came out alongside the BlazBlue Complete Soundbox, which gives you the Crossing Fate theme, Persona 4 Arena's version, Under Night and Ruby's version, the Resonance and System themes, all of the Team Ruby mixes, Calamity Trigger, Continuum Shift, Chrome Phantasma, Central Fiction arcade theme, Crossing Fate, which is the short version, and Turning Fate, which is the brand new song introduced for BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle 2.0. And still, you don't get the character select theme, you don't get the menu themes, you don't get the lobby things, you don't get the interest theme, you don't get the main menu things, you don't get none of that, which is so weird. It had 3 releases, and none of them have the other songs that complete the set. Again, the only way you're actually going to get the, I guess technically it's not really official, but you're going to have to find a way through a data mining or just find the compiled together soundtrack that someone made from the trial version, which has all these songs in one. Then again, considering BlazBlue has a ton of different soundtrack releases, I'm not even shocked in the first place of why BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle just still releases its music like this. So why did this game feel empty at times? Why did ARCSYS release it in this state? Oh, I can tell you. It was because of EVO. Now, before the game even dropped, it was already announced that BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle would be on the 2018 main stage for EVO, and that raised a few eyebrows right off the bat, as it was only a few months between the actual launch in the game and the actual EVO competition. So what was the deal? From the look and feel of the game, along with the DLC business months ago, it was speculated this game was rushed in time to reach the EVO main stage. Whether or not this is actually true, I feel like ARCSYS jumping in the EVO gun far too early did have a factor in this game's launch, and if it was actually made for the sake of EVO, I could definitely believe it. And now I gotta mention the actual DLC packs released before BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle's actual launch. Character Introduction 6, February 15th, 2018. Platinum the Trinity, Kanji Tatsubi, and Orie, releasing on the same day as the all-in-one Season Pass, which was June 5th. Character Introduction 7 on March 16th, 2018. Jubei, Aegis, and Carmine Prime, which went live on June 19th, 2018. Character Introduction 8, April 19th, 2018, which introduced Hakumen, Vatista, and Naoto Shirogane, and also went live on June 19th, 2018. I also wanted to say that it wasn't too long ago after all that where the voice lines for BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle were leaked. It revealed the Final 9 DLC characters being Nine the Phantom, Izayoi, Yuzu Riha, Akihiko Sanada, Mika Returna, Merkava, Mitsuru Kurijo, Labris, and Mai Natsume. Oddly enough, the announcer also said that names like Asuka and Yumi were also in there as well, like Senran Kagura's Asuka and Yumi. And upon hearing Asuka and Yumi's names, it was that moment when the floodgates opened for more potential franchises to make it into this game. And that actually brought back some interest for quite a few people. Some people actually just picked up the game just to wait to see what was coming next. And it wasn't much, but it was something. They confirmed that the leaks were true, at least the Final 9 characters, but at the end of it all, it showed off a pink diamond alongside the other ones representing the franchises, and it immediately made me think of Arcana Heart, and my theory would be confirmed to come true. How long did it actually take for them to come out so I can play them? 9 months.
No! No!
So the final 9 characters that will make up the 40 character roster being revealed at EVO made up Character Pack 6. And that dropped in August 6, 2018. And then the Character Pack 7 trailer would release, which would consist of Heart Aino from Arcana Heart, Naoto Kurogane, Teddy, and Seth, dropped on February 13th, 2019. And that actually wouldn't come out until May 21st, 2019, giving a 9-month gap between Pack 6 and 7. 3/4 of a whole year, goddamn. It was also around that time where ARCSYS would have BBTAG in the arcades. Anyway, Character Pack 7 would later launch, though none of the characters had any interactions with anyone. But as a make good for having the release take so long to come out, Character Pack 7 was made free for those who bought the all-in-one pass or purchased all 6 character packs. And while that was nice, quite a few people dropped off the game due to how long the wait was or simply lost interest in the game. Mostly for me, there wasn't much in the game to keep my interest going, even though I was willing to still keep playing. I definitely want to see who else was coming in, and Heart being revealed was a good thing for me, because I like Arcana Heart, and I definitely wanted to see Arcana Heart get into BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle, and now that it's happening, maybe more can come in, and that was a hope. I needed some hope for the game, and that's what it gave me. And then a huge bomb dropped on us on August 4th, 2019. And that was the beginning of BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle 2.0.
次はてめえの番だ。覚悟しとけよ。白髪野郎。
くっ、一丁前に吠えてんじゃねえよ、クソガキが。
忍びとして生きると決めた以上、覚悟していたのです。さあ、次へと参りましょう。正義の忍びとしてここで負けるわけにはいかないのです。
無きことのなおこの上に積もれとし、限りある身の力試さん。対戦車戦用意、戦闘開始。我は雷神、絶対不敗なり。
どこの世界にいても戦いは避けられないのですね。あなたの力お借りします。
ブレイブルークロスタックルバトル。
A new track known as Turning Fate played in the trailer, updated gameplay like Rampage Time, Cross Raid, Extra Assault, the delayed down entrance, bringing in new characters such as Yumi from Senran Kagura, which finally confirmed that, Akatsuki and Blitz Tank from Akatsuki Blitz Conf, and last but not least, Neapolitan from Ruby. This trailer was a really, really good one, even looking back on it. They introduced 2 new franchises, a popular Ruby character, and enough tank memes to last a lifetime. And if that wasn't enough, it also revealed 5 more characters were coming up in a brand new trailer, along with a new version of the game, known as BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle Special Edition. September 21st, 2019 is when the final 5 characters for BBTAG 2.0 were shown off to us. Celica A. Mercury from BlazBlue, Elizabeth from Persona, and finally the Villains pack we have all been waiting for all this time, in the form of Susanoo, Toru Adachi, and Hilda. All 9 characters were released in BBTAG 2.0 expansion pack for $25, while the special edition full package will be $50, dropping on November 21st, 2019. By purchasing BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle Special Edition, you would get all the characters released up to that point, including the 2.0 characters along with all the DLC colors. You also get a new jukebox feature where you can listen to music from the game, along with various tracks from Ruby like This Will Be the Day, When It Falls, Sacrifice, Divide, etc., along with songs from Under Night and Birth and BlazBlue that aren't selectable in battle. You also get colors for your chibi avatars, they changed up the character select and versus screens, they added subtitles to the interactions, which even mainline BlazBlue games don't even have, along with a brand new 2.0 story mode, which incorporates all 53 characters in a gag reel style format, having Naoto Kurogane as the main character of sorts. I love this story mode, as it was what I wished for BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle to be all along. Now, while it didn't add much to the game in regards of new modes outside of the new story content, it really did feel like a huge upgrade, and it made the game feel more alive than ever. The new characters and the added changes to the gameplay definitely brought me back, and now I actually love playing Cross Tag Battle, and I have really come around to it. Anyway, after BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle 2.0 was out, ARCSYS Works and PlayStation did have several tournaments for it in the past couple of years, and CL Sulphur from BlazBlue Alternative Dark War had a lobby avatar that was originally data mined when BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle 2.0 came out, but then it was put back in the game when BlazBlue Alternative Dark War became a thing. Though I will admit BBTAG 2.0 isn't perfect. Hell, Akatsuki BlitzConf doesn't even have a stage of its own, which is so weird. How Arcane Heart gets a stage, Senran gets a stage, but with Akatsuki with 2 characters doesn't get a stage remade. That is weird and dumb. The character select screen is both an upgrade and a downgrade, considering it looks kinda ugly with all these characters slammed into like that, especially the Senran Kagura bar where there's just, you just select the character and they just change the bar's color. I do not like that. Also, the etc. bar is still here. I have no idea why it's still here, considering we don't need the etc. bar if we could just change our controls elsewhere. I mean, yeah, the only benefit it has is really the random button, but honestly, there could have been an easy option for that. And what's weird is that the game is in arcades, but they never implemented an arcade mode, which I have no idea why they still haven't done it. They could have just made a really cheap and easy arcade mode like Dragon Ball FighterZ or something like that. I would have been okay with more modes in this game. There are also songs that I definitely should have believed could have been in this game, something like Mass Destruction, considering all the P3 characters in Cross Tag. I'm amazed that Best Friends and Break Me Out Of, the opening themes for both Persona 4 Arena and Arena Ultimax, are in the game. I'm amazed that some of the music that's in the jukebox is even playable. Like, you can't play that in battle, which I just find so odd. There's also a bunch of other music that I wish could have been in this game playable. Like, for example, like those arcade themes that I mentioned before, they should have been in the actual battle select. But at this point, it's just me nitpicking about music choices, though those would have made sense to me. Yeah, as of this recording, BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle has not had an update since. After the CL Lobby avatar thing, that was pretty much that. That was the last really update that Cross Tag Battle ever had. And I'm not going to sit here and talk about what happened or speculate or theorize of what honestly could have happened. But all I can say is that it was a good game, at least in my opinion. And I'm glad it even exists in the first place, because BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle had a lot of trouble development and had a lot of trouble launching and had a lot of issues throughout its time existing as a game. But I personally believe that if it's going to go out, then BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle 2.0 is a good way to go out, at least in my opinion.